Hello and welcome to the build guide for Mother Aughra. Now, either before or after you've cleaned the model with warm soapy water, you're going to want to remove some of the flash and any mould lines from the model. So the first and most delicate part is the symbol of the conjunction, which you can see here. Now, when you are cleaning this, and I do recommend starting with a little toothbrush, or please don't use a new one, just a spare one will do. Support the piece with your hands, with your fingers, so you're making sure you're not putting too much pressure on the piece, because it is very fragile. And then use a sharp scalpel to remove any extra pieces of flash or mould lines on there. There aren't many, but it is worth just giving it a quick go over just to tidy it up as best you can. And once we've done that, all you need to do then is to cut off the supporting piece of resin off the corner. It's useful to keep that on whilst you're cleaning it up, because it just makes it a little bit easier to handle. But we can get rid of that now. Moving on to Aughra herself, there's a few areas you need to be aware of. The first one is at the bottom. There's a gate at the bottom which just needs to be snipped off and cleaned up. So use a nice sharp pair of clippers, snip that off, and then you can either sand or cut that down. Please, when you are using sharp scalpels, cut away from yourself. And if you are younger, please use adult supervision. So aside from that, there aren't many mould lines and excess pieces on the main body itself. The arm needs a quick brush over to remove the smaller pieces of flash. And there is a very, very slight mould line on there, which is to be expected. So it's absolutely nothing to worry about if you're new to miniatures. You just find the line that doesn't look quite right, looks out of place, and we'll just trim that down. It may be advisable to get a small piece of sandpaper as well when you're doing this, and just give some of the easier to access mould lines just a quick rub over. Now when it comes to the hand, again you want to give it a brush down and and then remove any mould lines from it. There is a slight mould line down the inside of the thumb, so just use a sharp scalpel and just gently scrape that away. And what you might need to do is dip the side of the thumb and forefinger of the hand into some hot water, and then gently move the thumb out a little bit so you've got a gap where you can pop the conjunction, but that all does depend on the cast. With resin casts, they can all vary very, very slightly, especially with parts like that. And when it is only millimeters we're talking about. So there's a little bump at the little casting gate at the bottom of the hand as well, which needs to be removed. So just do it bit by bit, test fit the hand every now and again. It is a nice fit, so just make sure you don't remove too much. Don't glue it in place just yet, because you've got to fit the arm. So again, give it a test fit, and then clean up any excess parts such as gates or casting debris that's on the inside of that joint. If it doesn't fit quite right, just give it a quick scrape, pop it into place, and then we can glue it and leave that to sit for a little bit. Super glue is very forgiving, and it is usually hard very quickly, but you want to give it a couple of minutes just to cure properly. Here's how the conjunction fits into the hand. I will make a note, please do not glue this in place immediately, because if you intend on painting the miniature, you won't be able to get to the eye behind it if it's in place. So just make sure it should just slide straight in between the thumb and forefinger and will still be movable. So we'll glue the arm in place. There we go. Right, now we can glue in the hand, and if you put the conjunction into the hand first, obviously again don't glue it, this gives you a good reference point as to where you should be gluing the hand and how it should be positioned, because you don't want it touching the face, you want it just slightly away as if she's looking through it. And if you've seen the films, you will know exactly what I mean. There we go. That is Mother Aughra almost done. Now we're moving on to the very last part, which is part of her dress or shawl, which will need to be affixed to the back. So the shawl doesn't fit the way you think it might look. So it goes like this. There is a curve at the bottom which will sit onto the torso of the miniature. And it fits right down near the elbow. So obviously once you've test fitted and made sure you're happy with how it sits, pop some glue on there, on both the joins near the arm and near the lower torso, and we'll get that stuck down. There we go, all done. Hopefully this video has been useful to you. We have more videos. If you went in on the Kickstarter for BrokenToad, Blacksun and Jim Henson miniatures for Dark Crystal Labyrinth. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next ones.